flood disaster. Crime, health, cost of living, 100
down on price. Experts say it's far too expensive for what you're getting when compared to the others. So when it comes to car insurance, you're warned. There are plenty of duds. Take the time to shop around and review the fine print, even if it means taking an extra 10 minutes.
Southeast Queensland plunged into darkness. Next in Flashback, the 1985 blackout, how Sir Joe wouldn't back down.
And lights are still out in North Queensland. The latest on the flood threat next.
How would you cope if the power went out for an extended period? Tonight on Flashback, it's 40 years since a widespread strike by power workers led to rolling blackouts, and Sir Joe wouldn't back down. Max Futcher reports.
Good afternoon, Tony Davenport from the CQEB Control Centre for 7 National News. I'm here tonight because Queensland is in the grip of its worst ever power strike.
In 1985, Queenslanders suddenly learned how much they relied on power.
It's not been possible to give people who depend on electricity adequate notice. For instance, dialysis machines, life support systems, water supply and sewerage installations.
1,000 electrical workers went on strike. The pay dispute began in the power stations and spread throughout the industry. Supply had to be rationed, customers shopped by gas or torchlight, stock perished, and food outlets couldn't cook unless they had gas. No power meant petrol couldn't be pumped. Hospitals were disrupted. Dialysis patients suffered. Traffic lights were useless. There were deaths as cars collided. Industry also shut down.
Everybody stood down and we're losing money, heaps.
We're losing, what, 45, 50 bucks a day. You know, that's part of, like, that's a week's rent anyway, isn't it?
At home, people used candles and there were many house fires. The dispute spread right throughout the power industry. Southern media had a field day at our expense.
Queensland and the Sunshine State was plunged into inky black darkness today in a shock power strike clash between the unions and an angry Premier, Sir Joe Bonkers Bananas.
My goodness gracious, what are you to do? Who do they think they are? Who's in charge of you? There's communists and their mates and the socialists that are out to destroy our way of life.
Fed up, Joe declared a state of emergency and set out to break the unions. The battle was complete with propaganda broadcast on TV.
Here's the Premier of Queensland, Sir Joe Peterson. At risk is our whole system of industrial democracy.
Public support fell in behind Joe. Ordinary people were sick and tired of industrial disputes wreaking havoc. The CQEB workers said, "Sack us, you'll never replace us." Joe did. The legacy, a change in legislation. Strikes in essential services are now part of Queensland's past.
But now, Michelle, the rain held off in Brisbane today.
It did, Sam. It was